Okay, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Mr. Mayhem. Today I got something a little different to what I've done in my previous videos. Today I'm going to be giving you my history with the Halloween films. I've got a bunch of notes here, so I will be referring to that if I ever look off screen. That's why. Yeah, if you like this, feel free to drop a like, comment, maybe even subscribe if you're feeling generous, and we'll get into it. I do have my stack of Blu-rays here and 4Ks that I'll refer to throughout the video when I'm talking about certain films. But first heard about Halloween when I was about 12, 13, I think. I heard it through my dad, and that's when I was starting to get more into film. He told me that the score was something that still scared him to that day, and that apparently it's one of the scariest films he'd ever seen. So I think a couple years later, he was in HMV and he picked up the, I don't have it, I couldn't find it, I tried looking for it for this video, but he picked up the Halloween 5 film set. I believe it was from Anchor Bay, it was DVD. And so one night, we watched both of them, the first time, back to back, and I loved them. First one more than the second, obviously, but really liked them. And then that sort of like hooked me into the horror genre. I mean, I'd always been kind of interested in horror. It was always the thing that I was kind of like, ooh, that's kind of bad. Like, you shouldn't be watching that. It's extreme. So, yeah, watched those for the first time with my dad, and then I didn't watch 3, 4, or 5 with that set at all. But then I showed my friends when I could. I think I showed a couple of my mates in school. I can't remember. I'm not quite sure. But moving on. Excuse me. The next time I remember it coming back up prominently was when I heard about the announced sequel reboot in 2018. And I was very, very excited for that because I'd heard a lot about it, and I was very excited to see what they'd do with that. And I'm pretty sure I'd watched Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 and 2 before that. I think I'd seen it once before. And I think that's why I was so excited, because I liked those films because they were more brutal. 2 especially was quite entertaining when I was a bit younger. But I can't remember watching any other ones other than the first, the second, and the Rob Zombie's first and second until a point in time that we'll get to. So, yeah, the original Halloweens, which I have the 20th anniversary, I believe this is 20th anniversary Blu-ray, and then I have the 20th anniversary 4K as well. Yeah, these films are fantastic, as you probably know. The 4K looks brilliant as well. Yeah, I love these. For some reason, these are hard to find now in the UK. They're out of print for some reason, and all the sellers are upcharging them for way more than they're worth, which is something really confusing. I don't know why they're doing that, but that's just something that happens. These Blu-rays and 4Ks are apparently quite rare, these specific ones. So yeah, I don't know what's happening there. Moving on. So yeah. And then in 2018, I happened to see that, I think it was a week before 2018 came out, they were showing the original Halloween in cinemas. And I was like, Dad, we should go see this. And he was like, oh, yeah, sounds good. So I ended up seeing that in the cinema with my dad, and the audience, the whole theatre was absolutely packed. It was sold out. And it was such a great experience because the audience laughed along to the corny dialogue, and then they were just really into the film, and it was just absolutely brilliant. And there was even people, when you walked into the cinema, there was someone dressed as Michael Myers at the end of the entrance ramp, just stood there staring at you, and it was so cool. And like during the downtime before the trailer started, he would just walk about and like the theater and just stare down specific aisles or stalk specific people, and people were freaking out about it. It was great. So yeah, I saw that in cinemas with my dad. So happy I saw that in a theatre with an audience. Just absolutely brilliant. And then a week later, I saw 1 second. Let me get it out of the pile because it's quite further down the way. And then a week later, I saw 2018, Halloween 2018. And at first, I loved this film. This is the HMV exclusive steelbook that I showed in my other video on the Titans of Clot one. But I loved these films. This film, sorry. The first time I saw it in cinemas, I loved it. I thought it was better than the original. Second time I saw it with another mate, loved it even more. Pre-ordered the steelbook, got that in, and I just loved that film so much. And then when they announced that they were doing another 2 films, that I was so hyped for those films. Like, oh, so excited for that because of what they'd done with these. But obviously, we went into lockdown like a year after they were announced, I think. And it came up to October, and me and Callum wanted to. This is 2020. Callum mentioned about watching through all of the Halloween films because he had just bought them all. He had recently bought a Region Free Blu-ray player, and he bought them all. I think he bought 4 and 5 from America. He got a multi-pack, which is in here, and I did the same at the same time. And we watched through all of them in the space of 3 weeks, I think. I think we watched 1 and 2. 1 and 2, this is the release he has as well. We watched that, and then we watched 3, which is still sealed. I just got this in recently. We watched 3. Back to 2, sorry. This is going to be a very disjointed video. I'm just rambling for like 10-15 minutes. But we ended up liking this one a lot more than we thought we would. It's the most solid of the original sequels in our opinion. But yeah, this is a region-free one, thankfully. So we watched that, and then we watched 3 the same day. Me and him hated 3. I just didn't like it. I find it so boring. But I bought it a couple of days ago, and I got it in yesterday, and I want to rewatch it because ever since then I've heard like really good things about it and how it is very unique. So I'm gonna give this another go. But we'll see how that goes. But I've only seen it once and I hated it, so I'm willing to give it another try. And it was the last one I needed for my collection. And then we watched 4 and 5. Now he had bought a laptop, like external Blu-ray player that was only Region B for us. So he then said, "Oh, if I were to buy the Halloween 4 and 5 that you can get on CEX, and at the time they were worth I believe 5 was worth £26 and this was like 12." But he said, "If I buy these, do you want the American ones?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine, although I can't watch them." And you'll find out why I have these now. But yeah, he bought these and we watched these, and 4 was fine. 5 was fine. This is the thing, when we watched them all together, they kind of all blended together. So I've only seen this twice. And I've only seen 5 once. I can't really remember much of 5 because it's been 2 years. But yeah, we thought they were fine. Not much happens in them. But yeah. And then he found a triple pack online, which has H2O, Resurrection, and 6, Curse of Michael Myers. Really basic set. My only issue with this is that it just says Halloween triple feature on the side. But yeah, 6 was funny because of just how disjointed it was and how, suddenly they've been released, and we pissed ourselves laughing at that thing where it just cuts to them. 1 minute they're being held hostage, next minute, why did they release us? And we're just like, we don't fucking know. But yeah, that was fun. H2O was actually quite good compared to everything else, and we ended up thinking it was quite decent. Resurrection was fucking horrible. That shit was boring as hell. I've only seen all these once, but yeah, we watched those, and that was fun. And And then we watched Rob Zombie's Halloween films. And obviously, I had seen these before. I bought this German set on eBay because it comes with English audio track and English subtitles, and it's the only cheap way to get in an English Blu-ray of it, an English Blu-ray, a UK Blu-ray of it. So that's why it's the German one. But I got this, and we watched my copy, I believe, because his is still sealed. We watched my copy, and I ended up I still quite like this film. It's not great, but I don't like the trailer trash stuff. It's just it's cringe. It's just really just not fun to watch. But I do like the Michael Myers in this. I do like the gore and the kills in this. It is quite good. I think Alan thought it was better than he thought it would be, but he didn't like it as much as I did. And then this one, I had this Halloween 2 release for ages. Like, I had this, like, I'm pretty sure I got this in a CEX like yonks ago. Yeah, this one is so disjointed and stupid. There's quite a lot of inside jokes between me and a couple of friends with this, where like there's one scene where there's this guy who's about to have sex with this girl in a van, and then he goes out to piss at a tree, and then Michael just comes out of nowhere and just has the Speed Force, zooms up behind him and just stabs him, and it's so fucking funny. Absolutely brilliant shit. Yeah, it's fine. The kills are great, the gore's great, but the actual story and stuff is just, yeah. And then obviously, and getting back to the 2018 and onward films now, I watched through all of them with Callum, and then we watched 18, and yeah, I thought it was good. My opinion went down more once I watched it that time with Callum, but I still really liked it. And then, sorry, I'm just looking through my notes to make sure I can see I'm doing this properly. And then a year later, when obviously Kills was about to come out, I have the steelbook. When Kills was about to come out, I rewatched 78 and 18 with Callum. I think I liked 18 more again because of this coming out, and this was like one of my most anticipated films of that year. But then I went in to see Kills and on opening day, and I was very mixed on it, and it was so weird because I loved 18 at the time, and when I saw Kills, there was something off about it for me. Like, it just felt so weird. I enjoyed the kills. The kills are great. The gore is fantastic. But there's just something about the actual film itself. Like the mob stuff just didn't really... Like, I was excited for the mob stuff when I saw it in the trailers, but they went about it in a really stupid way, because obviously it's just... You would know that Michael's not a fucking gremlin-sized person. He's a fucking mountain. But... yeah... I don't know. And then, like, I rewatched it again when I got my steelbook in, and I thought it was fine again. The extended cut is better, but it just ruins the flow into ends. But after I watched this again, I lost pretty much all hype for ends. I didn't care what they were going to do with it. And that was kind of a thing where I just didn't care. But I was going to see it day one because I wanted to at least see what happened. So then when the first trailer came out for it, I was like, what is this? They show nothing apart from like pretty much spoilers. I'll put spoilers in the tag, but they show pretty much the whole final fight with Michael and Laurie in that trailer. And they have this suspense where like, oh, she's going to lose her hand, Well, of course she's fucking not going to lose her hand. Because they show it right away. That would have been a good bit to cut it off at, but I don't know. The second trailer I thought was decent. Weird, but decent. But then I saw an opening day with Callum, and I hated it. I still hate it. I remember being sat there in the cinema for literally like 75%. I was with it for the first half an hour, but once I realised that we still hadn't seen Michael and it was 50 minutes in, I was like, what is going on? And then all the preceding stuff with Corey, how it's just, why are you focusing on this character 3 films in? This makes no sense. Michael is sidelined and is basically treated like a little bitch boy. And this is meant to be the epic final showdown between Michael and Laurie, but he's barely in it. And that fight lasts way too, like, it doesn't go on for long enough, and it just takes, it's just so underwhelming. And the fact they do the 4-year time jump, and they barely even address the impact that Karen's death has had on Laurie or Allison. I mean, obviously they do, but not anywhere near enough to where it feels impactful, like that decision they made at the end of Kills. And it just it just annoys me that this whole trilogy is just so disjointed now, that it doesn't. Hang on, I'm referring to a review I wrote on Letterboxd to try and get more of my thoughts through, because I've forgotten so much of that film. But yeah, it was just, the ending felt extremely rushed. And how did the town just suddenly know that, oh, everyone, Michael's been killed, or Michael's about to be killed, everyone gather around. And then also, why at the end did they say, oh, there won't be a memorial, there won't be a gravestone? Well, no fucking shit, he's not a hero. And it's just, and also, why did she keep the mask? Just destroy the mask. I have so much more to say on that film, but I really can't be bothered getting into it. I've pre-ordered the Steelbook, the orange HMV one. There was a blue one, but the orange one looks better, only for the sake of being a completionist. But honestly, that new film is just terrible. I don't like it at all. I can appreciate that some people might find it refreshing, but for me, if you like it, great, but I hated it. I still hate it. But yeah, that's pretty much my history with the Halloween films. Not much else to say on it. I hope that was interesting. It was just me rambling for 18 minutes, but this should go up on Halloween, I think. I'm just away to re-record my video game steelbooks because the footage got corrupted. But yeah, if you enjoyed, like I said at the start, feel free to leave a like, drop a comment, maybe even subscribe if you're feeling generous. If you like this content, then there will be more of it. I don't know what I'm going to be doing after this, but I hope you'll stick with me. Cheers.